Prithvi's complaint to Lord Vishnu. Long, long ago, Prithvi, Mother Earth, was troubled by the sinful act of demons and evil forces. Daityas, demons, caused mayhem, violence and destruction everywhere. Prithvi went to Mount Sumeru to ask Lord Brahma for help. She cried out, "Evil Kansa, son of Ugrasen, is causing havoc on earth. He has joined evil demon king Arishta, Dhenuka, Keshi, Pralamba, Naraka, Sunda and Vana to destroy me. Please save me." Lord Brahma heeded to her plea and prayed with her to Lord Vishnu at the north shore of the mighty ocean. Lord Vishnu heard their prayers. He appeared before them and said, "Do not fear, O Prithvi, I will destroy Kansa. 2 strands of my hair will be born on earth as Krishna and his elder brother Sankarshana Balram. They both will kill the demon king and the other evil forces." Prithvi was overjoyed to hear this and profusely thanked Lord Vishnu. Kansa hears the warning. Kansa was an evil demon king of city Mathura. Though Kansa was very cruel, yet he loved his sister Devaki a lot. Devaki was married to Vasudeva, the eldest son of Shursen. Kansa loved her so dearly that he himself drove the wedding chariot of the couple. Just then he heard a prophecy from the sky. "Foolish Kansa, do you know whose chariot you are driving? The 8th son born to Vasudeva and Devaki shall kill you." Kansa was furious. He stopped the chariot at once and took out his sword from the sheath. He charged ahead to kill Devaki, but Vasudeva rushed to save her. "Do not kill my wife, O Kansa," he said. "If you spare the life of my wife, I will give you all our children. You can then do what you must to protect your life." Kansa withdrew upon hearing this. He put Devaki and Vasudeva in prison on the condition that they would give him all their children. The 7th son. Narad was a divine sage who loved to create trouble. One day, Narad visited Kansa and said, "O Kansa, you have extended a warm welcome to me. In return, I shall help you. Beware of the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudeva. He is the reincarnation of Lord Vishnu and he shall kill you." Kansa roared with laughter and said, "Such is my power that I can kill a god if I wish to. I have already put Devaki and Vasudeva in prison. I will kill any child born to them." Cruel Kansa killed 6 of the couple's children. Devaki and Vasudeva could do nothing but lament on their loss. When the 7th child was about to be born, Devaki was deeply upset, but Lord Vishnu sent a solution. Vasudeva's second wife, Rohini, lived in Gokul. The 7th son was sent to her womb by Lord Vishnu. Thus, he was saved from the evil Kansa. The 7th son was named Sankarshana following his birth. Devaki's despair. Though the 7th son was safe yet, Devaki and Vasudeva felt grief for the loss of their 6 children. "How can I bear to see another child being killed by Kansa? Our 7th son is safe. It is our 8th son that I am fearful for now. Lord Vishnu himself is to be born to us. But if evil Kansa finds out about Lord Vishnu's birth, he will not spare him. How can I bear the pain of losing my beloved son?" said a depressing Devaki. Lord Vishnu suddenly appeared in the prison cell. His radiant form lit up the cell. "Do not fear anything. Do not grieve, for your loss is soon to be avenged. I will be coming to save the people of Mathura from the evil clutches of Kansa. I will be born as your 8th child to rescue you from evil Kansa." Lord Vishnu observed. He then told them how he would do so. Devaki and Vasudeva see a ray of hope. Lord Vishnu smiled as he looked at his future parents. He said, "Do not grieve. Your agony shall soon end." Vasudeva looked up hopefully. "O Lord, what should we do? he asked Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu said, "Your friend Nanda is the chief of the cowherds at Gokul. His wife Yashoda is about to give birth to a baby girl named Yogmaya. You must take me to Gokul and leave me there with Yashoda. Take Yogmaya back with you to the prison cell." "O Lord Vishnu, we cannot leave the prison cell. How will I escape with you to Gokul? The guards at the prison door," said Vasudeva. "Do not fear, O Vasudeva. When the time comes for you to go to Gokul, nothing shall stand in your way. With my blessing, you will be guided at every step." Hope filled the hearts of Devaki and Vasudeva upon hearing these words. Lord Krishna is born. As the time for Lord Krishna's birth neared, the stars formed a special constellation. A star called Rohini shone brightly. The glittering star comes out only on special occasions. The planets fell in line and the music flowed as gods and apsaras, divine nymphs, danced. The time for Lord Krishna's birth drew near. The Brahmin priests were delighted as magic flowed in the air. Devaki shone like the sun because Lord Vishnu was about to be born to her. So bright was her radiance that no human eye could bear to see her. Lotus flowers blossomed in lakes. Rivers became calm and peaceful. As soon as Lord Krishna was born on the stroke of midnight at Ashtami, flower petals fell from the sky and covered the earth. Prithvi rejoiced at the birth of the Lord. Vasudeva was filled with joy to see his eighth child, who was the incarnation of the divine Lord Vishnu himself. Lord Vishnu performs a miracle. As soon as Lord Krishna was born, Vasudeva became alert. With the blessing of the Lord, the prison chains fettering Vasudeva fell upon. The prison gates opened on their own. The prison guards fell asleep. "There is not a moment to be lost. You must set out for Gokul with our son." Lord Krishna pleaded Devaki to her husband. "You are right. I shall leave for Gokul immediately with him. Evil Kansa should not come to know of the birth of Lord Vishnu, for he will surely destroy our eighth child. I must leave at once," said Vasudeva. "Be careful. May Lord Vishnu guide you safely to Gokul," said Devaki. "Do not doubt Lord Vishnu's blessings. He shall be with us at every step on the way," said Vasudeva. Then he placed Lord Krishna safely in a basket and quickly moved out of the prison cell. He headed with resolve to Gokul. The perilous crossing. As Vasudeva neared the mighty river Yamuna, which had to be crossed to reach Gokul, the rain began to pour down heavily. The crossing was difficult. Vasudeva stepped into the swirling waters with faith in his heart. As thunder boomed and lightning cracked across the sky, Vasudeva wondered how he would get to Gokul safely. To protect Lord Krishna from the rain and storm, Sisa, the great serpent, speared his mighty hood and shielded him from the storm. The river was flooded and water level rose high, but just as the wave touched the Lord Krishna's feet, the river calmed down. Even as the rain fell, Vasudeva's firm footsteps guided him to the palace of the chief of the cowherds, Nanda. Vasudeva thought, "What if the palace guards see him with my son?" Then he saw that Lord Vishnu had put the palace guards to sleep. Vasudeva crossed the sleeping guards at the palace and soon reached Yashoda's birth chamber. Lord Krishna reaches Gokul. Soon Vasudeva reached Gokul and met his friend Nanda. Nanda was beaming with joy on the birth of his daughter. Vasudeva told him the whole story and handed over his son. Nanda gave his daughter Yogmaya to Vasudeva. He kept Nanda's newly born daughter in the basket and took her along to the prison. When Vasudeva reached the prison, he placed the baby girl next to Devaki. As he did so, the prison doors clanged shut. The prison guards awoke. They raised a loud clamor when they saw little Yogmaya. The guards immediately ran to tell evil Kansa about the eighth child. Vasudeva comforted Devaki and said, "Do not worry, Lord Krishna is now safe in Gokul." Kansa will never be able to reach him. Devki said, "It is the blessing of Lord Vishnu that evil Kansa will not be able to harm our son." Kansa's fate was now sealed. Yogmaya warns Kansa. When Kansa heard that the eighth child had been born to Vasudeva and Devki, he ran to the jail. "Where is the eighth child?" Kansa roared. Devki pleaded, "She is a baby girl. How can she harm a mighty king like you? Please don't kill her." But Kansa picked Yogmaya up. "Die now!" thundered evil Kansa as he threw Yogmaya to the ground. The baby girl rose in the air. She was goddess Yognidra, who had been sent by Lord Vishnu to her to teach Kansa a lesson. "O foolish Kansa, the one who will destroy you has been born already. You cannot win. Mark my words. You are going to die." Evil Kansa gaped at her. She laughed and vanished into the sky. Kansa vainly boasted to his evil friends, "I fear no one except my guru, Jarasandha. I will kill any strong male child to safeguard myself." The demon king began to hatch evil plots to kill Lord Krishna. Vasudeva meets Nanda. When goddess Yogmaya told Kansa his days were numbered, the demon king realized that it was futile to jail Devki and Vasudeva. "The god who will destroy me is already born. I should release Devki and Vasudeva," Kansa thought. The couple was allowed to leave the jail. Vasudeva anxiously awaited news about his two sons. One day he received a visit from Nanda. Vasudeva was happy to see Nanda in Mathura. "Oh Nanda, I am blessed to meet you," Vasudeva said. Vasudeva then told Nanda to guard both the boys carefully. "Please have a Namkarana, naming ceremony, for both of them. Do not choose Vrindavan, stay in Gokul only," said Vasudeva. "What is wrong with Vrindavan?" asked Nanda, curiously. When Vasudeva told him that evil Kansa might harm the boys, Nanda agreed to remain in Gokul. Vasudeva also told Nanda about why Kansa wanted to destroy Lord Krishna. Nanda realized how important it was to protect both the boys. Nanda leaves for Gokul. After taking leave of Vasudeva in Mathura, Nanda climbed into a palanquin with his child and wife. He told his wife Yashoda about what Vasudeva had said. "I am fearful our son and his brother. If Vasudeva was warned us about Vrindavan, we should heed it. We should remain in Gokul," said Yashoda. After she had heard Nanda, when they reached Gokul, they were happy. Cows stood with their calves and cowherds played with one another. The sweet smell of freshly churned butter and pure curd was everywhere. Beautiful gopis, female cowherds, shone in brightly colored saris, and flowers bloomed by the wayside. Nanda and Yashoda felt joy to see their children chuckle with laughter upon reaching Gokul. Lord Krishna's radiance was bright. His eyes shone like the stars and his sweet smile enchanted everyone. Lord Krishna's mighty powers would soon reveal to the people of Gokul as well as to Nanda and Yashoda. Garga Muni names the children. Nanda and Yashoda arranged for the naming ceremony of both the children. A learned sage, Garga Muni, arrived for the boys' naming ceremony. Delighted at such joyful tidings, Yashoda proudly exclaimed, "Our son will be named by the reversed sage. This is an honor to us." When the sage saw both the boys, he declared, "The two boys before you are sent from heaven to destroy evil on earth. Many demons will attack them, but the two boys will prove victorious every time." Both Nanda and Yashoda were overjoyed to hear this. Garga Muni also said, "Both these boys will rid this land of evil forces." A slight twinge of fear rose in Yashoda's heart as she thought of the demons who would attack the two children. The thought that Garga Muni had predicted the death of all the demons allayed her fears. Garga Muni named the elder boy Sankarshana Balrama and the younger boy Krishna. Baby overturns bullock cart. Yashoda watched over Lord Krishna with care. One day she left Lord Krishna near a chakra bullock cart. while she went to bathe in river Yamuna. Lord Krishna was blissfully asleep for some time. Suddenly, he woke up and moved his arms and legs fretfully. His legs got caught in the wheel of the cart. The gopis watching him became afraid. They feared that the cart would hurt the infant. To their amazement, the cart was overturned. Yashoda heard the noise and ran towards Lord Krishna. She was relieved to find him safe. When she saw the overturned cart, she questioned the gopis. They narrated the whole episode to Yashoda. Yashoda told Nanda about the miracle. Both were astounded about what had happened. Their son was not an ordinary mortal, and they knew he was powerful. But this showed them how strong he was, and that even evil demons would quail before his might. Lord Krishna kills Butana. Kansa instructed all demons to search the entire land for Lord Krishna. One of the most powerful demoness, Butana, found out that Lord Krishna was in Gokul. She took the form of a bird and arrived at Gokul. Then she changed into a gopi and visited Lord Krishna's house. I will feed poisonous milk to the eighth son and he will die, she thought. All of the Gokul was asleep except Lord Krishna. She took Lord Krishna in her arms and started to feed him poisoned milk. Lord Krishna sucked the life out of her, and the evil demoness fell to the ground with a terrible wail. Yashoda and Nanda awoke and came running out of their home. They saw the dead demoness lying on the ground and realized what had happened. Henceforth, Yashoda watched over Lord Krishna with special care.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.